can't feel the beam.
I'm okay with not being perfect, 'cause that's perfect to me.
Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Natasha.coates and I'm an elite disability gymnast. Today I wanted to talk to you about the adaptations that I make in the gym and the barriers that I face as doing gymnastics as a disabled person. So let's get straight into it. Let's start with me telling you a bit about my disability. So I have a range of disabilities. One of them means that I cannot feel from my elbows down and my knees down. So obviously doing gymnastics, a very tactile sport, it's really difficult. So one of the main barriers that I face is connecting skills. So for example, tumbling. When I land and my feet hit the floor, I can't tell the angle that I've pushed off at, so I don't know if I'm going back kind of all the way back, if I'm going up into the air. It can be really disorientating. By the time I've hit the vault, I don't feel my hands touch it, I only feel the impact through my arms. So then by the time my brain's gone, oh, I'm on top of the vault, I need to push off, there's a delay before I actually push off. One of the hardest things that I've struggled to get back in the past year or so is catching the bar. Catching the bar when you cannot feel the bar is so difficult. Like, I can't even, it's terrifying. It feels like a leap of faith. I stand up on the low bar and I just go, nope, no, just no. And then I jump and I catch the bar, but I ping off a lot. We broke it down right to very basics with the crash mat, and the amount of times I pinged off that bar, still do. Yeah, I fall a lot. I do a lot of repulsion work with bar, so I kind of like lean against the bar like this and rebound against it to practice gripping it, and I do a lot of strength work with building my grip strength to try and help, but when you can't feel the bar, it's really difficult. So I can't actually feel if I've caught the bar. I can only feel the drag down through my shoulders if I've caught the bar, and that is the key word there, if. It's a little bit scary, but the more I do, the more the kind of muscle memory kicks in and I kind of have more of awareness of where my body is and what I'm supposed to be doing, which is why you'll see an extra swing in my routine. It gives me time to make sure that my hands are on securely before connecting it into something else, because it makes it a lot safer than going straight into another skill. Beam. Whoever invented beam, I've got a bone to pick with you. That thing is too high and too thin. I can't feel the beam. When I do beam, all that I rely on is sight and muscle memory. I cannot feel where I place my hands. I cannot feel where my feet are below me. When I land my cartwheel, when I come to bring my second leg down, I really struggle with that because I can't feel where I'm placing it. I have to wait to kind of feel the pressure through my hip when my foot's on the beam. And I don't realise that it's not on the beam until I'm falling onto my back or splatting onto the floor. For me, a skill like a back walkover was easier to learn because your hands are in front of you. I can put them then above me, and then as I'm leaning backwards, I can look to where my hands are going, and then with my first foot and then the back foot follows. So backwards skills are actually a lot easier. I did try learning a forward walkover, that was a complete disaster. Couldn't feel when my first foot was hitting the beam. Just, yeah, not safe. Not safe. There is a limit within my gymnastics where I have to turn around and say my disability does not prevent me from learning this skill, but it makes it a lot more dangerous, and maybe we should try learning something safer, which my coach is always great with, so we adapt a lot of things in the gym. I use mats under the beam because I struggle when learning new things, particularly if you've got like a cream mat underneath a beigey cream beam and all you're using is sight and you're moving. It's really hard for me to be able to see what I'm doing because it all just looks the same. And it's horrible. So quite often I have a red mat underneath or a green mat or just something so there's a colour contrast so that I'm able to see the beam a lot better, which makes a world of difference. And that allows me to build the skill up, gain the confidence, gain the muscle memory, and then eventually we remove those colour blocks out underneath and have to do it on beige. Unfortunately in gymnastics, sometimes you get hurt. Like any sport, it's hard, it happens. As a gymnast that can't feel their lower limbs, it's more difficult. Getting hurt can be quite difficult to tell because if I roll my ankle, I might not necessarily feel the pain. Or if I do feel the pain, quite often it's referred. So when I injured my ankle last year, the pain I got was actually above my knee, even though it was my ankle. I managed to dislocate both my ankles a few months ago and had the most beautiful bruises, really impressive bruises. But at the time, I couldn't feel my ankle pain when I did it. It was only the fact that my ankles weren't quite sat in the right place that I realised that, oh, okay, that's not right. I do break more easily than mainstream gymnasts, and that is something that we definitely take into consideration when I'm training. I always have extra padding and extra mats. Maybe I just need to do gymnastics in bubble wrap. Maybe that'd be safer. A more obvious thing that really affects my gymnastics is when I have to spend quite a lot of time in hospital, or if I'm really sick and I'm not able to train for a long period of time. I lose a lot of muscle, I lose a lot of stamina, you know, my body shape changes, everything feels really exhausting and hard, you know, I could be in a lot of pain. That really affects my gymnastics. You know, if I'm building up for a competition but I've spent, you know, a month in hospital, it's just not the preparation that you want. You know, I want to be getting numbers in and routines, and you just can't do that. Like, if I'm in hospital, I can't do that. You know, I literally had to go from intensive care, like relearning to point my toes. So the thought of competing at British Championships feels like a world away. But I just keep pushing forward, and each time, you know, it starts learning to sit up on the side of the bed and put my feet over the side of the bed and moving my toes, pointing my feet, and then I'm walking again. And then walking turns to jogging, which turns to running, which turns back into gymnastics. And I'm not saying it happens overnight, and it's certainly not easy, but I have such a love for this sport that it keeps me going, and that's what I love to do. So those are just a couple of barriers that I face of doing gymnastics with my disability. I hope it helps explain a couple of things, and I hope you found it informative. Let me know down below what you'd like to see on this channel. I'm really excited to share some content with you and show you what my life's like. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. Bye!
I'm not a supermodel from a magazine, no. I'm okay with not being perfect, 'cause that's perfect to me.